Some of you are more in yes, some of you are more in no. You didn't choose that. You didn't wake up this morning and said, I will be an open receptacle for learning. Probably. If you have some range, you have some choice, you can then adapt that to different situations in your life. Sometimes being more yes, sometimes being more no. This makes sense? Yeah, very simple. Let's just do a little bit of group coaching then to keep it interactive. How might we bring some awarenesses? Because you might have an opinion, as to whether you're more yes or no. But remember, that opinion is from your current embodiment. Often people will just say, well, I'm normal, or they'll say, well, it depends. True, it does depend, though that in itself is kind of a no embodiment to say, it depends. Yeah, embodiment is to some extent situational and not the same as when I'm teaching as when I'm hanging out with my niece or my wife or whatever, right? However, you do have a default. That's what we mean. That default will continuously undermine anything you try to do with a coachee as change unless you can bring it to the surface. Yeah. So one way we might look at that is do something simple like exaggerate our posture into a real wide open yes. Let's try that. Notice straight away all the yes people are like, yes, I will do the exercise. All the no people will be like, what the fuck is this? I'm still working on. Some of you have gone into an enthusiastic yes like this. We call this a fuck yeah, that's different. See the difference? This is receptive yes, this is wah yes, it's different. That reveals something, right? Your mistakes are not mistakes. Unless you have a sort of shoulder problem or a physical issue, there's no reason you can't put your arms this way. This is also going to evoke certain things. Some of you will feel vulnerable, you'll feel open, you'll feel stupid, you'll feel unfamiliar. Others will be like, oh, I really like this. This is really comfortable. I feel really nice. We're also changing your state, right? So as I'm teaching essentially now, before I do coaching, this might be quite helpful for me to ask you to be into a more open state for learning, right? So the opposite of the guy who comes into the corporate workshop with his arms crossed, you know? Great, now let's do no. We have a sort of standing up version of these, but let's stay sitting down. I haven't finished this coffee yet. So notice some of you have done this. That's your no. That's not what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Some of you have done this. That's not what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah. Some of you are like, no. Some of you are like, fuck you, no. Yeah. That says something. It's not unless there's a biological reason why your arm needs to be, you know, in or out. Yeah. Which felt most familiar? The yes or the no? Which felt most familiar? Put it in the chat. I like that drawing on the screen, Thurston. Thank you. I think that was a Y he was trying. By the way, notice you have a bias. Most people like to think they're a yes. Okay. If I called that one pushover gullible pose, you might not be so keen on it. Because it's contextual, right? We tend to think that yes is better than no. There's a bias in most cultures towards that. Yeah.